The leadership communication gap isn't about what you said. It's about what landed. And if you've ever walked away from a conversation feeling great about it, everyone nodded, you were clear, and then nothing came back the way you expected, that gap is exactly what happened. Today we're talking about where it forms, what it's costing you, and 3 habits that close it. Let's get into it. I'm Kelli Risse, Peak Performance Executive Coach and author of Succeed with Ease, Mindset Mastery. I work with leaders, business owners, and solopreneurs who are capable, driven, and honestly, still dealing with way more friction than they should be. And this gap right here, it's one of the biggest culprits. Here's what most leaders don't realize. Every message you send lands inside a context the other person is already living in. Their priorities, their assumptions, their read on your tone. All of it shapes what they actually take in. So what you said and what they heard, not always the same thing. I had a client, a business owner with a great team, who kept having the same performance conversation with one of her managers. Every single time, she walked away thinking it went well. Every single time, nothing changed. She thought the message landed because it felt clear when she said it. It didn't land. And not because her manager wasn't listening, because she never defined what actually needed to be different and by when. She was clear on her frustration. She just wasn't clear on her expectation. And here's the thing, that's incredibly common. The most expensive assumption in leadership is thinking that clarity felt on your end equals clarity received on theirs. It doesn't work that way. And there are 3 places this shows up the most. The first is context assumption. You know the full story behind what you're asking. Your team only knows what you told them in that moment. So when you leave out context you think is obvious, they fill in the blanks with whatever makes the most sense from where they're standing. Usually reasonable, not always right. Think about asking someone to handle a sensitive client situation without telling them how sensitive it actually is. They handle it fine by normal standards, but normal wasn't good enough for that client. You knew it, you just didn't say it. The second one is directional language versus outcome language. Leaders say things like, move faster, tighten this up, be more proactive. And look, those things make total sense to you. But to the person hearing them, they're wide open for interpretation. Outcome language is what closes that gap. Instead of be more proactive, try this. By Friday, review 3 at-risk client accounts and flag them for me. That's it. Nothing to interpret. They know exactly what you need, and when you start communicating like that consistently, your team stops coming back to you for clarification on every little thing. They just move. Decisions happen faster. You stop being the bottleneck. The third one is urgency and tone mismatch. When you soften a serious issue to keep things comfortable, people don't treat it as serious. And when everything is flagged as urgent, nothing feels urgent anymore. Your team is reading your signals all the time. And when those signals are inconsistent, their execution will be too. So how do you actually close the gap? 3 habits. First, state the outcome, not just the task. Before you hand anything off, define what done looks like. Not the steps, the results. One of my clients started doing this in her weekly check-ins. Just 2 minutes defining the expected outcomes before delegating. And within a month, her team was hitting the mark more consistently, rework had dropped, and she was getting her Friday afternoons back. Honestly, that alone was worth it. Second, check comprehension, not just compliance. Most of us wrap up a conversation with, does anyone have any questions? And that almost never catches the gap because people don't always know what they don't know. So try this instead. Ask them to recap what they're walking away with. That one shift still catches misalignment before it turns into a missed deadline or a full redo. Small habit, real results. And third, separate information from decision. This one is so common, it's almost a leadership epidemic. Information gets shared, everyone nods, and then 3 people walk out of the room with 3 different versions of what was decided. Sound familiar? Before you close any important conversation, say these 3 things out loud. The decision that was made, who owns it, and what the next step is. 30 seconds, that's it. It prevents days of confusion. Here's the bottom line. The leaders who move fast aren't communicating more. They're communicating with enough clarity that their teams can act without having to check back in. When you close this gap, things shift pretty quickly. Decisions stick, your team moves with confidence, and you stop having the same conversation on repeat. And you get your energy back for the work that actually matters. It's not a personality thing, it's a habit. And you can start with your very next conversation. If this was helpful, hit subscribe. I put out content every week on leadership, peak performance, and how to build a business or be a leader that doesn't run on stress and overwork.